Before we begin, make sure you save some money on your eShop credit. Go over to switchup.gg if you're in a region that works, and you'll instantly get 5% back in cashback whenever you buy your eShop credit, and we get a little kickback. Happy days. Hi everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. I can't get the Fallout songs out of my head. Man, that game's so good. I've been playing it quite a lot since watching the series, and it should be on the Switch. It's upsetting. Today we're going to have a look at some sale games. Quite a few, or actually most of them on their cheapest ever prices. Whether or not that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing, well, it depends on the state of your backlog. Congratulations to the winner of our free game. This was your winning comment. It was, well, it was pretty average, let's be honest, but people liked it, so... Here we are. What are the best games on sale? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Welcome back to SwitchUp. If you enjoy this content, make sure you stick around. Now, let's find out. First up, we've got Dragon's Dogma. It's 83% off. Now, I played this way back, and I'm playing through the sequel at the moment, and it's actually made me realise that the first game really does still hold up to this day. Now, if you like action RPGs with a bit of a different twist, then you're definitely going to enjoy this. They're very fast-paced games. They're stupidly cheap at the moment. It's like £4.24. That could have been in the Savaloy Selection. You play as the Arisen. Basically, you're like the chosen one, and you can summon these helpers and create those as well, and then post those online for other people to use. The combat here is what makes the series, I think, feel unique from other action RPGs. You can basically climb up any monsters and cling onto them and stab them. It feels very cool. You can definitely feel the inspirations from things like Monster Hunter. Although I have to say, like, Monster Hunter should have that, shouldn't it? You should be able to jump on them. I miss the days, like, you can obviously mount creatures and kind of control them with the wire bugs, but I do miss the old school mounting mechanics of the older games, and actually just being able to jump onto them. I'm saying it, and actually it would very much change the way you play the game, wouldn't it? So yeah, I might have just talked myself out of that. Dragon's Dogma at 83% off. That one goes on until May the 8th. Very good game. Beyond a Steel Sky is down 75%. That's now its cheapest ever price. Really nice adventure game inspired by the old school point and click adventure Beneath a Steel Sky, which I had on the Amiga. The Amiga 500. It was amazing. Used to go to my cousin's house and he had one as well, and I probably was a little bit I mean, what's a nice way of saying I used to borrow some of his games. We had like Dizzy on the Amiga as well. That was a great game. And It Came From the Desert. That was another one. Man, amazing games. But Beyond a Steel Sky is taking things into a more modern direction. It's a fun game. As I say, I completed this one a couple of months back, finally rolled credits on it, and it is good, but you can usually find the physical quite cheap as well. I've got it physically and digitally, but if you're a digital, someone that wants to buy digital, for just over £8, I'd say it's well worth that price. Another series I've been hammering this week is Final Fantasy VII. So I've been playing Final Fantasy VII, the original game, but if you do have that on PC, there's a modification for it, where it reskins the OG characters to look like the more modern ones. So it's like a halfway house between the new and the old, and it works really well. So I'm playing through that for like the bazillionth time and just having such a blast. I spent a few minutes, the thing with nostalgia is it can take you back to being a kid. So I closed my eyes and just listened to the music, and I was like just transported to my bedroom when I was like 10 years old. It was a good time. But the Crisis Core game I'd never played. It obviously runs on the more modern engine, so I was hoping we would actually see the remaster on Switch, especially considering this, well, it runs pretty well for what it is. But these are more like mission based, so you will have some of the same characters and obviously set within the same universe, but it's like Soldier going out on missions and then the story that ties between those. Very action heavy, but very cool. That's £24, that's half price until May the 8th. Now Tinykin, this is a lovely game. It's like a bit like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a way, crossed with something like Pikmin. You've got these little Tinykin creatures, you have to get a certain number of a certain colour, and then you use those to carry items across the stage to then unlock areas, all the while trying to construct a machine as the overarching goal. Really good. I think it's a great game. Now, it has had a number of patches. It runs quite well now. Had a few problems at launch, but it's held up nicely. And as I say, down to its cheapest ever price, half price until May the 22nd. It's about £10, so not too shabby at all. Really fun game. Night Dive bought us Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered recently, and man, do I love these games. Like, everything they bring back with their Kex engine just runs so well, doesn't it? It's like buttery smooth, 60 FPS. You You can switch between the old and the new. You have that thing where you're like, oh, nothing's changed, and then you switch back to the original graphics and you're like, my goodness, it's literally unplayable. Now, I will say there's a couple of sub 60 drops at times, but generally it's fine. You've got gyroscopic controls. All of the things I think really add to the experience, so it's like the best way of ever playing it. And the gameplay wise, it still holds up. I mean, what did I review last week? I reviewed that new Wrath Eon of Ruin game. And that's actually, well, originally based on the Quake engine, and that's what it should be on, but we've got a weird version on Switch where it runs on, I think it's Unity, and it's just a mess, like full of input latency and stuff. But gameplay wise, Star Wars Dark Forces holds up way better. It's just more fun, it's a more enjoyable game. So that's down to its cheapest ever price, 30% off, £17.49. It goes on until May the 10th. Gal Guardians Demon Purge was originally Gal Gun, I think, or Gal Girls, I can't remember. They changed the name. I think it was Gal Gun or Gal Guns. Who knows? Let me know in the comments, I've forgotten. But we reviewed it and then they changed the name, which was a bit of a pain. Now that's down to its cheapest price. This is brilliant because it's excellent in co-op or single player. So it's a very fast action-based game, quite precise. Thankfully there are lots of checkpoints, some really solid boss fights as well. Really good this, actually. I was surprised. I thought it was just going to be, well, I thought it was going to be decidedly meh, if I'm honest. But yeah, we had a blast in co-op. And I imagine it's good single player as well. But at 40% off, down to £12, that is much more reasonable. We do like that. Now, a lot of you were shouting at me last week. You were like, you didn't mention Octopath 2 is on sale. And you're right. Both of the Octopath games are half price, the cheapest they've ever been, until May the 8th. So you've got a few days still to pick those up if you're interested in them. They're outstanding. Yes, you do need to play the first game, in my opinion. Like, it's because it's amazing. Like, I know someone's saying, well, you could pick up the second. Yes, you could pick up the second, but you should play the first one. It's really well done. Excellent storylines across those 8 different paths, and then they all come together at the end in quite an expert way. Those are, as I say, half price until May the 8th. Graveyard Keeper is down to its cheapest price, 75% off, until May the 22nd. Quite an unusual departure from the standard farming and sim life games. This time you are quite literally managing the dead and planting them in a way. I guess actually no, you can't call burying people planting them, can you? Or can you? Man, that's morbid, isn't it? Or you can chuck them in the river. You can actually harvest their organs as well. But anyway, if you want a slightly macabre twist on the farm life genre, then definitely consider Graveyard Keeper. Has an amazing box art, this. It's like a picture of a guy riding on a donkey with a shovel in his hand. It's like, what the heck? I knew I was going to like it the second I saw that, to be honest. The sale for that one, as I say, goes on until the 22nd of May. The kids' pick this week, before we have a look at a hidden gem, is Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. This is a cracking game. Now, yes, I know you don't have to be a kid to enjoy this, absolutely not. In my opinion, it is the biggest and best Lego game that we've ever had. Now, it's TT Studios, isn't it, the guys that make these? Is that right? I think it is. But they even said, like, the amount of new systems and mechanics that were thrown at them, and by all accounts, development there is a bit crunchy, let's say. Someone will just say, hey, look, why don't we do this? And they kind of have to do it. But I think they were all very relieved, and also, you know, it feels rewarding, doesn't it, when your hard work actually pays off and everyone says this game's amazing. So yeah, this game's very good. Yes, you can play split screen, 2 players on Switch through the whole story mode. There's so many unlockables, but it's the freedom. Like, the idea of an open world kind of action RPG almost within this universe just works brilliantly, and the different eras and the way that those are handled, being able to choose which one you go to next, really good. Enjoyed it immensely. That's down to its cheapest ever price, silly cheap. It's like less than a tenner. And it's funny, whenever I say a tenner or a quid or anything like that, there's someone in the comments like trying to translate. We get a lot of people trying to translate our little what are they? They're not colloquialisms, are they? They're just like slang words and things. So that's always a bit of a chuckle. But yeah, just a few quid. Happy days. Not a lot of bunts at all. And no, I'm not having a bubble. Finally then, the hidden gem this week. And no, for most of you, it's probably not a hidden gem. Not if you're as old as I am. But for a lot of people, it will be, especially on Switch. Commandos 3. The like HD remaster or whatever. That came out. I really wanted to do a review of it because I love Commandos. The third game was never overly held in high esteem, I don't think, within the series. The first 2, though, that were re-released, they just felt rubbish. Like, they didn't hold up with the way they'd done the controls. But this one actually holds up really nicely because it had a slightly more console-ready control scheme. Performance was also quite good. Now what are they? Well, they're strategy games that feature commandos with different skill sets. One of them will be able to disguise themselves as enemies, the other one will be able to cut wires and things. You've got the commando in there that can use his knife to take people down. But you have these massive missions and you have to think and plan ahead a strategy to take people down, stay undetected if that's the case, and complete missions. But you can look and see the vision arcs of the enemies, so it makes planning out quite tactical. But they're really good. I hope, I'm sure I heard something about another game in this series coming. Wasn't there a trailer on IGN? Not sure. But yeah, I'd say it's a bit of a hidden gem on Switch. Now it's the cheapest it's ever been at the moment. I think it's well worth this price, and the sale goes on until May the 12th. On to our Savaloy Selection then. Last week I tried to name what region? Was it Portuguese? That Portuguese snack thing? We've got our Savaloys, we've got our Costco hot dogs, our vetkoeks, and there's always some very... South Africans, you're really proud of your vetkoek, and I salute you for that. You say to someone in England about a Savaloy and they're like, pretend they've never eaten one. It's like, come on. It's like a doner. Everyone loves a doner, don't they? Someone called Donna's just sat up in a country where it's not a kebab and gone, what on earth is going on here? First up, we've got Beholgar. This is a fun little side-scrolling hack and slash, 60% off. I had a good time with that. I bought it for like absolute peanuts, like it is here. Well worth that price. Is it going to set the world on fire? No. Is it going to give you a nostalgic kick and a bit of a challenge? Most certainly. The Inner World, a really nice point-and-click style adventure, which also has a sequel that's usually on sale. That's 83% off. They actually handle very dark themes of fascism and stuff. And then you got Penny Punching Princess. Cool, that's a tongue twister. That's 90% off. Such a nice little pick up and play loading game that. But actually, there's quite a bit more to it. The sound effect as those pennies like dance around the screen. Yeah, happy days. Mextermination Force. If you're someone that likes boss rush games, then this is a good one. It's essentially a series of boss fights. That's 83% off. And then we have an avoid game this week, something you should, in my opinion, avoid. And I will give an alternative because I like the developer, so I don't want to stitch them up completely. But I think you should avoid Summer in Mara. Now this comes from Chibig, and this is like their JRPG version within this world. It's just not good. You've got a little farm, you've got these quests, but it's the most fetch quest heavy game I've ever played, and they're so lame. Sorry guys, just didn't enjoy it at all. But they do have a platformer from the same developer, which is called Koa and the Five Pirates of Mara, and it's excellent. Like, really suits that style. Feels like a reimagining of Mario 64, but with these kind of race sections that you can optionally do to upgrade your boat and stuff. It's quality, really good game, so consider that one instead. So that is it for the week. As I said at the start, make sure you leave your normal comments and the cream hopefully will rise to the top if you like all of those. Let me know what you thought of this video. As always, I hope you have a lovely weekend and a good Monday. It's bank holiday Monday here in the UK tomorrow, so a lot of the kids and stuff have got the day off. Happy days. Thank you so much to our Patreons and our members and all of you that enjoy the content. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers guys, see you!